Hola, bienvenidos al podcast de Gustar y verbos parecidos. Hello and welcome to the podcast about gustar and similar verbs. I'm Senora Stanius, and we are looking at these in order to have students practice using gustar and similar verbs appropriately in Spanish, both in written and spoken. We need to be able to use these verbs that follow the same pattern as gustar as well, and they're different than what we're kind of used to in English, so we need to make sure we take a look at these. Remember that even though gustar is translated as to like in English, it really means to please. And because of this, gustar must be preceded by an indirect object pronoun that indicates the person who is pleased. And then it is followed by a noun that indicates the thing that pleases. So here's a couple of examples for you. As we go through this podcast, make sure that you are following along and taking notes on your grammar sheet. So, me gusta la película, when I want to say I like the movie. Or, ¿te gustan los conciertos de rock? Do you like rock concerts? Remember that the thing that pleases is the subject. Therefore, gustar has to agree in person and number with that. Most commonly, we're going to have the subject be the third person singular and plural. So a couple of examples we have: Nos gusta la música de Jennifer Lopez. Or me gustan las quesadillas. Les gusta su casa nueva. Perdón. Remember, there are situations where we may say me gustas if you want to tell someone that you are pleasing to me, or I like you. Sometimes we'll use gustar followed by an infinitive. When this is the case, and it can be one or more infinitives, the singular form of gustar is always used. So, no nos gusta llegar tarde. Les gusta cantar y bailar. We will sometimes use me gustaría. That is the conditional form, and we will use it in order to soften a request. So I might ask someone, me gustaría un refresco con hielo, por favor. Or, ¿te gustaría salir a cenar esta noche conmigo? Now here are some other verbs like gustar. You might want to pause the podcast at this time to write them down and write down their meanings. Again, these were ones that we're going to use most often, either in the third person singular and plural, and then we'll have to use one of those indirect object pronouns, the me, te, le, nos, os, or les. I'm going to continue at this point. There will be times that we are going to repeat that indirect object. When we do this, we have to repeat it using the construction a and either a prepositional pronoun, or a and a noun, most commonly a person's name or names. This allows us either to emphasize or, and very often, to clarify the who is being pleased. So, a ella no le gusta bailar, pero a él sí. Or, a Felipe le molesta ir de compras. We're going to look at two more verbs. We're going to first look at faltar and quedar, that were from those verbs like gustar, because faltar expresses what someone lacks. Meaning, with these examples, I hope this helps clarify. Le faltó dinero. Or me faltan 2 pesos. You see, in this case, I'm talking about lacking money. And again, remember, these can be used in the present, in the past, in the future. This is not, any verb tense can be used with any of these verbs. Quedar is the other one. We need to remember it's what someone has left, or how clothing might fit, or how clothing looks on a person. So, nos quedaron 5 libros. Esa falda te queda bien, if you want to compliment someone. This ends the podcast about gustar and similar verbs. Please make sure you complete the Google Docs that you find after this podcast. Gracias y hasta mañana.